Now at 6, we're following breaking news out of Dayton, Ohio, where a gunman killed 9 people and hurt 27 more early this morning in Dayton's historic Oregon district.
Police say in just a matter of seconds, officers who were in the area shot and killed the suspected gunman, 24-year-old Connor Betts. Tonight, we are learning more about his victims and how the Dayton community is responding. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Kristen Hartman.
And I'm Craig McKee, and 9 on your side anchor Tanya O'Rourke is live in Dayton. Tanya?
I sure am, guys. I am here at the Oregon district. And folks, let me just explain exactly where we are. I want to take you here. This is the alleyway that police tell us that the shooter came up. He came right exactly where I was just standing and started shooting, turned this way. There was a taco stand here where he started shooting people, and then across to Ned Pepper's. And it only took seconds, 30 seconds, they say, from the time he started shooting until they took him down. Police took him down, and we have new surveillance video that shows how quickly a night out ended in chaos. In this video, you can see people start to flinch as they hear shots ring out and then start to run for their lives. Now, we have blurred part of the video, which shows someone who was injured taking cover with several others. We now know that 9 people were killed. 9 people killed in that quickly a period of time, not to mention 27 people were hurt. And one of them is in critical condition tonight. Now, among the 9 killed is 22-year-old Megan Betts. Megan Betts was the shooter's sister. Also, 27-year-old Lois Oglesby, 38-year-old Saeed Saleh, 57-year-old Derek Fudge, 30-year-old Logan Turner, 36-year-old Beatrice Warren Curtis, 25-year-old Thomas McNichols, 39-year-old Monica Brickhouse, and 27-year-old Nicholas Coomer. Now, we do have team coverage here in Dayton, of course, for you. Kristen Swilley is talking to community members. They're setting up for a vigil. It's going to take place out here where I'm standing, not too far from here, and about 8 o'clock tonight. And that's going to remember the victims. And we're going to hear from Kristen in just a little bit. But first, we want to go to 9 on your side's Josh Bazan. He is at the convention center and has the very latest from Dayton officials. Josh?
Hi, Tanya. Police just walked us through step by step what they know for sure happened early this morning. There is still a lot they're trying to figure out, but we now have a better idea of where the victims were shot and where the alleged shooter was killed by police. They say the first victim was killed in an alley off of East 5th Street. Police say he then shot and killed 8 more people while walking down 5th Street. 27 other people were also injured in the attack. 6 Dayton police officers fired shots at the suspect, who has been identified as 24-year-old Connor Betts of Bellbrook. Police say he used .223 caliber rifle in the attack and had magazines on his person that carried up to 100 rounds of ammo. During the attack, police say Betts was wearing a mask, ear protection, and a ballistic vest. Dayton Police Chief Richard Beal says countless lives were saved by the officers who stopped Betts from going inside Ned Pepper's bar.
It was crucial. Had this individual made it through the doorway of Ned Pepper's with that level of weaponry, there would have been a catastrophic injury and loss of life. So stopping him before he could get inside there, where you saw all the people they were running in there for protection, was essential in minimizing to the degree we could casualties and deaths from this incident.
Chief Beal says one of those 27 victims is in critical condition at the hospital right now. The investigation is still in the very early stages. Police are still trying to figure out a motive for the attack, and they're still interviewing witnesses about what happened. Reporting live outside the Dayton Convention Center, Josh Bazan, 9 on your side.
All right, Josh, thanks so much for that. So folks out here, they have been scrubbing and cleaning this scene pretty much all day long, trying to get the debris, the blood all away, because there's going to be a vigil here tonight. Let's go to Kristen Swilley, who has the very latest on that vigil, which should start about 8 o'clock. Kristen?
Yeah, Tanya, people have been gathering here for hours, just coming here to reminisce on better times, to grieve, and to fully come to terms with the fact that their hometown, now the latest site of a mass shooting. Let me go and step out of the way here so you can see just what we're dealing with. We're being kept back by a layer of police tape, but investigators still working to preserve this area. No exact word on when things will reopen down here. Crews are down here. As you said, they were cleaning the street earlier in front of Ned Pepper's where the shooting took place, and we're watching and waiting to see when this portion of 5th Street will reopen. Meanwhile, the people who spend their weekends in this entertainment district came here today to pay their respects. They say this is devastating, but it will only make them stronger.
When I heard about it, I was like, oh my God, like this can't be happening. Like I probably know somebody who was down there. So just to come pay respects to the people who lost their lives.
And I do believe Dayton's still going to be fine. It's easy to say when it didn't happen to you, but I've been through some things in my life. We'll be all right.
Now, tonight's vigil is scheduled to begin at 8 p.m. We'll, of course, have full coverage of that for you, both on air and on our website, WCPO.com. Tanya.
All right, Kristen, Swilly, thanks so much. And folks, what you're looking at right now is they are just starting to open up the streets right here outside of Ned Pepper's on 5th Street in this Oregon district. And what you're looking at, that's going to be the stage for this vigil. And they're going to get it all set up right out here so that everyone, as Kristen was talking about, can pay tribute to what happened here last night and the lives that were lost. So at a news conference just about an hour ago, Dayton's police chief said the shooter's family is struggling. You can only imagine how much. Police say that Betts drove to this scene where he shot and killed so many people with his sister Megan, who he ultimately shot and killed. And it was another man that was with them as well. Now, at some point before this shooting, the trio split up for the evening. Police say Megan was not the first victim, but one of the first victims that he shot. 9 on Your Side reporter Craig Cheatham was in Bellbrook today, where the Betts family is from, where police searched the shooter's home.
Bellbrook police arrived at the Betts family home at 4 this morning. The grieving parents, mourning the loss of both children, watched as federal agents executed a search warrant. This photo shows 24-year-old Connor Betts with his 22-year-old sister Megan. Police say Connor killed her during the mass shooting in Dayton. Bellbrook Police Chief Dan Doherty spoke with their parents this morning.
It's just horrible, very upset. As you can imagine, just that kind of news.
Chief Doherty says Mr. and Mrs. Betts talked with grief counselors and will receive as much help from the department as they need.
It's just another one of those things. It's just a kick in the teeth.
Neighbor Brad Howard, who has known the Betts for nearly 20 years, says this tragedy follows a series of unrelated deaths of Bellbrook students during the last 7 years.
It was just another are you kidding me? It was Bellbrook again.
Megan Betts was a biological science student at Wright State University. Her Facebook page says she had recently been a tour guide at the Smoke Jumper Visitor Center in Montana. Bellbrook Police Chief Doug Doherty says the family has already received a tremendous amount of support. In Bellbrook, Craig Cheatham, 9 on Your Side.
And that was Craig Cheatham. And I got to tell you that we have just now as we were showing you Craig Cheatham's report, been allowed onto 5th Street. And I think we might be the only news team on this street right now. I'm standing essentially where that taco stand was, where he came out of the alleyway and began shooting right here where I'm standing, and then walked across the street to Ned Pepper's over my right shoulder there. And all those people standing outside in line started hearing that hail of gunfire. This is just the beginning of what is sure to be a very long investigation into what led to that shooting. We are going to follow every step of this very, very closely. We're going to have more coming up in our next block, but for right now, at least from Dayton, I'll send it back to you all in the studio.
All right, Tanya, work live out there for us tonight. Thank you so much for anchoring our coverage on that angle. 6 Dayton officers, though, that we know actually stopped Betts on that street right behind Tanya there 20 seconds after he started shooting. They are heroes.
They ran toward the danger. We do know that. And tonight we are getting a look at the police response as captured by cameras on Oregon District businesses. Evan Millward is on your side with that video and praise for police tonight. Evan.
Yeah, and it's what you're about to see is pretty incredible. The video could be hard to watch for some. Ultimately, it shows people in moments of fear that few of us can fathom. It also shows a police response that I think will be studied for years for its swiftness and effectiveness. Here is that video. In the first video that you see here, you can see people scattering up 5th Street and on the left running inside, leaving a bar patio. You will then see 2 officers run around the corner right there, and they run out of frame toward the shooter. More people run up the street, and 3 more Dayton officers round the bend. You can see them with guns drawn, firing from a distance. And in a moment, you will see an officer, a sergeant with a long gun, come from the top of your screen out from behind a police cruiser that had been parked there. You see him there, and you can follow that green dot as they showed this in a news conference just a couple of hours ago. He walks toward the scene. This is another video, the moment police stop Betts. We aren't going to show you the moment that he is shot outside this bar, but you can see him come from the right side of the screen. There he is. What you have just watched is nearly real-time response.
The amazing work of the police department and the fire department this past, 12 to 15 hours is demonstrated, but I'm really amazed at what they do every single day. This is what they do every single day, and I am so grateful to get to be the mayor of a city with such an outstanding police and fire department.
Praise all day from Mayor Nan Whaley and Cincinnati Mayor John Cranley offering praise as well. Here's what we know about those officers. They include a 22-year veteran, Sergeant William Chad Knight. He was just promoted to that role last year. There were 5 other officers. They were all sworn in 2016. They are Officer Brian Rolfus, Jeremy Campbell, Vincent Carter, Ryan Nabel, and David Denlinger. Remember their names. They're on administrative leave right now. That's protocol when an officer fires his or her gun. Dayton police have been assisted today by some 15 other agencies, including the ATF and the FBI. Kristen.
Evan, thank you. A debt of gratitude to those officers for sure. The mass shooting in Dayton came just hours after a massacre at a Walmart left 20 people dead in El Paso, Texas. The suspected gunman, 21-year-old Patrick Crucius, is in police custody. Newly released photos show the suspected shooter was walking into the store, actually holding a long rifle. Investigators are focusing on a hate-filled manifesto which appeared just minutes before the first 911 call about that shooting.
We have to attribute that manifesto directly to him based on that information in that manifesto. That's where that came from. And so we're going down that road. It's beginning to look more solidly like that is the case.
A U.S. attorney says the Justice Department is treating the incident as a domestic terrorism case and is seriously considering bringing federal hate crime charges.
Meanwhile, President Donald Trump issued a proclamation today honoring the victims of both mass shootings. He ordered the flags to be flown at half-staff at the White House and at all public buildings around the country, saying, quote, "We condemn these hateful and cowardly acts. Through our grief, America stands united with the people of El Paso and Dayton."
We are on your side following all of the developments from this deadly mass shooting in Dayton.
We're going to bring you, of course, the latest tonight on 9 on Your Side at 11. You can also get up-to-the-minute updates online at WCPO.com and our mobile app and the WCPO Facebook page.